Hello guys and welcome back to Sweet and Sour Soccer, and this is our Premier League predictions for game week 4. I believe, Scott, this is the first time we've ever done it on the same video.
I don't think we've done our Prem predictions together, so in celebration of that, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button before we forget to say it. And should we jump straight in?
Let's waste no time.
Southampton against United. And I think Southampton really needed that win. Obviously, Ralph Hasenhüttl, a bit like Brendan Rodgers, obviously, they beat Leicester coming back from behind. Both those managers felt a little bit under pressure. It's gave him a little bit of help, hasn't it, Ralph Hasenhüttl? And United, obviously, a big win on Monday night, beating Liverpool. I think that shocked a lot. Question is, with this fixture, will that now spur United on? We imagine Casemiro will have a chance to, he will be playing some form of in that game as well. And more importantly, it looked like Sancho and Rashford have found some form as well. Because of that, I do think Southampton put up a fight. I think they get a goal, but I am going to go for a 3-1 prediction this one to United.
I was going to go 2-1 based on the reasons of what you said. My prediction for this game, depending on that Liverpool game, if they lost 5-0, I probably would have gone Southampton. But 2-1 to Man U, and you've gone 3-1. Let's move on to Brentford versus Everton. Brentford, what a start they've had. 4 points already. Scott, they've scored 8 goals in their opening 3 games, and of course, famously put 4 past United a couple of weeks ago. For Everton, it's 1 draw. They've now got this issue surrounding Anthony Gordon, potentially going to Chelsea for, quite crazy money. It's looking bad for Everton. And when you think their next 3 games, Forest, Villa, Chelsea, it's not looking great. I think I'm going to give it Brentford. I really do. I'm going to go 2-1 Brentford.
2-1 Brentford. I think because of what you've said as well, you've pointed out, obviously, the Anthony Gordon thing, is that going to create a bit of a bad vibe? Of course, going to Brentford as well, we've seen Brentford already pull up a big result against Man United 4-0 at their place. And I think for those exact reasons, I'm also going to give it Brentford. And you have to ask yourself, if Gordon's worth 60 million, what's Ivan Toney worth in this English market in today's money? But let's move on to our next game. We've got Brighton taking on Leeds. 2 teams, and this is a game I'm really looking forward to watching because, seeing the highlights, watching, because both teams have started incredibly well this season. Brighton look exciting. Leeds look exciting going forward. But the thing is, for Leeds, we've always known they're exciting going forward. They've lost 2 big players. They've replenished those players and could argue the squad does actually look a little bit better. What I'm also interested with Leeds is they look a bit better defensively as well, and just look a bit more of an overall all-round team. But they do come up against a Brighton team, which is going to be very tough to beat. I think there'll be goals in this one. I'm contradicting what I just said about Leeds' defence. I'm contradicting myself. I'm going to go 2-2.
Oh, that's not a bad shout. I mean, Leeds, fair play to them. 7 points from 3 games. Unbelievable. Went behind against us after 6 minutes on the opening day. Showed a lot of character. Came back, got the win. Do you know what? 2-2 isn't a bad shout, but just because I don't want to say the same as you, I'm going to say 1-1. I'm going to go 1-1.
We can't agree at all.
I cannot do it. Moving on to Chelsea versus Leicester, but 2 teams that really haven't had a good start to the season. Chelsea would have expected to be, higher up in the table. Leicester definitely would have. For Chelsea, it's not all bad. 1 draw and 1 win. But the thing is with Chelsea, they've already conceded 5 goals. We know they lost so many defenders in the summer. Koulibaly is going to take time to come in and settle along with other players. For Leicester, where do we start? 8 goals conceded in 3 games. In fairness to Leicester, they've scored 3. They put 2 past Arsenal. They scored 2 in another game. I think it was at the weekend. They can score goals, but 8 conceded in 3 games. Chelsea, Leicester. I think Chelsea need to bounce back after that humiliating defeat against Leeds. I'm going to go 2-0 Chelsea.
Yeah, this is an interesting fixture because I'm sure all eyes will be on Fofana. We don't know what that position will be by the time we get to the weekend. But either way, all eyes are going to be on Fofana. That'll be the headline that everyone's running with. He probably won't play again because of that. And I think because of that as well, I think I'm going to have to back Chelsea. I'm going to go 3-1 in this fixture.
Yeah, good show.
Yeah, let's move on then. Again, obviously, we've got now Liverpool coming up against Bournemouth. And if there was a fixture that Liverpool could pick out to bounce back and get their season underway, it would be this fixture, wouldn't it? Liverpool at home to Bournemouth. Yeah. You've got to think that they've got to get 3 points. Things obviously not looking, for the first time in a long time, things just seem a bit disjointed. I honestly think they're missing Mane a hell of a lot. But I think they do bounce back against Bournemouth. I think they get the season underway. You can see some goals come in, and I'm honestly going to go for a 4-0 prediction.
Ooh!
I think that's a bold prediction.
Bold. Scott going in the deep end. Do you know what? The most damning indictment I can give to Liverpool, that after 3 Premier League games, I'm already considering taking Salah out my FPL team.
Yeah.
That's when you know it's bad. 3 games in. 4-0. That's a big shout. I'm going to say 2-0 Liverpool. I think they bounce back. I think they keep the clean sheet. I'm going to say 2-0. Yeah, just not maybe that clinical. 4-0 for Scott. I'm going to say 2-0. Next up is Man City versus Palace. Man City, good game at the weekend against a very resolute Newcastle side. Newcastle go 3-1 up. City do what City do. We saw it on the last game of last season. The title was won. It was going to Anfield. They scored 2 goals in like 4 minutes against Brighton and win the league. And we saw that at the weekend. Again, 2 goals in 3 or 4 minutes. But they're playing a Palace team that there's something about this Palace team. Yeah. They proved so many people wrong, including us last season. I thought that they were, good to go down. I thought Vieira would be sacked. He's proven me wrong, and fair play to them. And they haven't signed signs of slowing down. Impressive 3-1 win at the weekend. City, for me, the title's done now. The challenges are Arsenal and Spurs. It's not going to happen. I'm going to give it City, but I think this is going to be a good free-flowing game again. Zaha's in form. I'm going to go 3-2 City. I think City might concede more goals this season than they have in previous years. 3-2 City.
Ooh, a big scoreline. I think exactly what you said. I don't see City walking over Palace. I'm really impressed with what we're seeing from that team. Wilfried Zaha back in full form. For that reason, I do think that Palace score. But similar to you, I just think City will nudge it by a goal. But I am going to go 2-1 rather than 3-2 to City. Let's move on to a team that has started absolutely brilliantly. Arsenal. And they come up against another team who are also starting out quite well. Well, very well for them in Fulham. I think a lot kind of wondered, would Fulham just go straight back down? From the early signs of what we've seen so far, you'd probably argue they might stay up this year. I mean, a really interesting stat I found out this week. Mitrovic has already scored the same amount of goals as he did last time he was in the Premier League.
I think I saw that. Yeah, crazy.
Crazy. But they come up against an Arsenal team, which, to be honest, looks very, very good. The only one thing you would say against Arsenal is every fixture they've had so far, you probably do feel that they should have won that fixture. Now, that's not
taking... You've got to win them. You've got to win them, though. Yeah.
And to be fair, that's something they wouldn't have done in the past. But I'm really looking forward to seeing how good this Arsenal team is when they step up to one of the bigger boys in the table. They come up against a very resolute Fulham side of a team in Fulham that look much better than they have done in previous Premier League campaigns. But I still only see it going one way. I'm going to actually go 3-0 to Arsenal because I think they look so good defensively, not just going forward this season.
And they are at home, aren't they, Arsenal?
Yeah.
They are. 3-0. Ooh. I mean, Arsenal could have had an extra 2 or 3 goals at the weekend. How Jesus only had 1 assist is unbelievable.
It annoyed my FPL.
Yeah, I captained him. I thought he'd do the business, and he almost did. I'm going to say 2-0 to Arsenal, and we are looking good for our season prediction where we said they'd finish in the top 4. Yeah. As the weeks go on, I'm feeling more confident. 2-0 Arsenal, you've gone 3-0. Next up is a game that I really am looking forward to watching this one. Hopefully I get the chance to. Villa versus West Ham. If Gerrard loses this game, he's the worst starting manager in Villa's 146-year history. chalk and cheese from the Gerrard that we saw at Rangers. Truly unbelievable. Has he been found out because he's in a much better league, best league in the world? Purslow, the chairman and, the board of Villa came out this week and said Gerrard has our backing. Is that the curse, or do they actually back him? Time will tell. West Ham, bottom. And not only that, Scott, they haven't scored a goal in the league. I thought Wolves couldn't score goals. West Ham haven't really looked close, have they?
No.
Obviously, Declan Rice missed a penalty against Forest. This one could be anything. It could be 4-4 because they're so bad. It could be a boring 0-0. Either side could win this. I'm going to go 1-1.
This is going to be an interesting game because, as you say, I feel both teams under pressure. Gerrard, he's still got the backing of everyone at Villa, but people, even their own fans, are asking the question about is he turn out to be the real deal? Obviously, with West Ham as well, really need to get their season started. But I'm going to agree with you because that was what I was going to go with, a 1-1 prediction. I think the points are shared, and we come on to another team that can't really score many. Wolves, our team, taking on Newcastle.
Yeah.
Personally, Wolves and Newcastle fans have both felt they needed a striker. Looks like Newcastle are going to get theirs done. Wolves have been linked as we record this. They could have theirs in by the weekend as well, which could add a bit more of a spice to it. This
flavor.
Is a very good game, and I think it will be won in the midfield battle potentially. But it is two big midfields coming up against each other. I think it's going to be a really interesting game. I am going to give it, and I hate to say it, I'm going to narrowly give it to Newcastle, and I'm going to go for a narrow 1-0 victory. I just don't see us scoring again, which is going to be really annoying, but I'm just going to go with Newcastle.
I don't think many Wolves fans would begrudge you because we have to act like a neutral on this channel, obviously. And we are, as Wolves fans go, we are pretty, realistic when it comes to Wolves. I think you're right with that midfield battle. Guimaraes, Joe Linton, Nunes, Neves. What a great battle that will be. They are conceding a few goals, Newcastle, but don't get me wrong, they played Man City. Anyone can lose 3 or 4 goals to City. I'm going to give it Newcastle, but I'm going to go 2-1. I think we get on the score sheet. I think we have to. We can't go into the 5th weekend 1 goal in 4 games. So I'm going to say 2-1 Newcastle.
And then the last game.
And then we've got one more game left. One more game left. Forest versus Spurs. Spurs unconvincing against Wolves in the last time out at the weekend. Wolves really could have come away with at least 1 point. Could argue all 3. For Forest, 4 points on 3 games, they'd have taken that. You could argue unlucky against Everton. They were 1-0 up into the 82nd minute. I think it was 81st, 82nd minute. Of course, Everton get their equaliser.
Yeah.
They could be sitting with 6 points after 3 games, Scott. I'm just going to give it Spurs, although Forest are at home and, of course, the City ground, that nostalgia is still there. They haven't played many games there yet in the Premier League, so they're going to be boisterous. Conte is going to demand a performance on the back of what he saw against Wolves at home, a Wolves team that haven't played well this season. So I'm going to give it Spurs. I think Forest put up a fight. I'm going 2-0 Spurs.
Yeah, almost replicating everything you've said there. Interestingly, Spurs less possession against Wolves, less possession obviously in the Chelsea game as well, but they are getting results. Conte's making them very strong defensively. It's going to be hard for Forest to get a goal. And to be honest, for that exact reason, my last prediction, we're actually going to agree again, which doesn't happen much. 2-0 to Spurs. That is my last prediction. Guys, let us know your predictions as always. Let us know if you enjoyed us two doing it together. Would you like to see us doing it more together, the predictions together, more often than not?
I'm coming solo next week. Well, we've got midweek games. Guys, look out on Monday, midday, lunchtime release on Monday because we've got our midweek fixtures next week. Don't forget.
Yeah, you'll be doing that one. But guys, hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel as always. We're going to be very close, if we've not passed it already, to 4,000 subscribers. So if you're watching this and we're not on 4,000 already, subscribe. And if we are anyway, we're on our route to 5,000. So hit subscribe as well. Catch you on the next one. Goodbye.